On the Comtech CDM-570Ls and 600s, the batteries, backup memory batteries, do fail after X amount of time. When the battery fails, you lose the settings in the modem. That causes a situation where if you take a power hit to the modem will not come back up at the right frequency, so it is actually a critical component to be sure is working. In our example here, we've already removed the battery from this one here, but we are going to show you the replacement process. There are 4 screws that hold this board in. The 600 is very similar, although the 600 has a couple of BNC connectors you need to unscrew from the back. On the 570, it's just the 4 screws here. The 600 actually has 6 screws on the board, and then the 2 nuts on the BNC connectors. There is a multi-pin connector on the 570 and the 600. You need to be careful as you pry it up. You just want to use some gentle force to remove it. First up, then out. Okay, one thing we need to be aware of is the orientation of the battery. On both the 570 and the 600, identical batteries, but there is a tab on the battery right there. You see the 3 tabs going across, versus on the back side there's only 2 tabs. This actually matches the setup where you plug the socket that you plug the battery into. Okay, if you look again, notice on the battery, notice this 3rd tab that sits perpendicular to the other 2 tabs, and if you notice here, there's a gap for that tab to sit in between, where if you notice on this side, there is no gap. There's already a plastic filler there as part of the socket. So this simply plugs in. Okay, so the way I prefer to do this is the side with the 3rd tab is the side I start in first, line up the 2 pins into the 2 female pins, and then just gently push down, make sure that you're lining up. The difficulty side of this is that, if the pins don't exactly line up. So again, that's why I start from this side, get the 2 pins to seat, and then apply forward pressure on the battery itself to get the other 2 pins to line up as you push down to get the pins to insert. Fairly simple. Then reinstalling this board is also a fairly simple process, but notice the socket, it's all male pins there, female here. You want to be sure not to bend the pins. You just need to pay attention to what you're doing and make sure things line up properly. So first I start by getting the ports here inserted into the slots they go in. And also, looking at the screw holes, because they give you a decent reference, although they are slotted, so they are adjustable. Once I get, to this point, I need to be able to look down there and line that socket up. It's not keyed, it's just, but it's a fairly simple thing to do. Again, if the holes line up fairly well, it's going to be close, and then just use gentle force. It doesn't take fairly gentle force. If you have to muscle it, it means you're not in the right position, and then you will bend the pins. That's it.